Aquarius, hello. We meet again, my friends. Are you ready for some of this 12th house Saturn action? Are you ready? I know we talked a little bit about it in December's reading, the fact that Saturn in your 12th house is going to ask you to look the way you do things in the world and in the spiritual. And I have to say, happy birthday to the January Aquarians out there. Let's start your birthday season off with a bang, right? I know one of you January Aquarians, no, a couple January Aquarians really well. Really well. In fact, one of them has been a prominent player was a prominent player in 2017 for me. Somebody who very deeply changed the way I look at myself, has taught me a lot. So thank you, Aquarius, for giving me a different lens on the world. I always say it, but it's really true. So here I am coming in from the opposite side of the spectrum to tell you that I have a little note for you guys. Are you shocked or what? So what's the note? It says, and this is just what came in, the way you did it before is over, is what it says. There's no going back to that way again. The path forward for you is relentless. Now, kind of makes sense. We're building up to your birthday season. We have this big Saturn thing that's going on that is pushing you kind of from the other side of the veil. You know, it's pushing you to do something different. We've been working up to you guys kind of bursting out into a new era in your life for a little while. It's been asking you, it's been asking you, it's been asking you, it's been sneaking up on you. And this month with the moon, the way it's working, it's doing all sorts of things. We have the Cancer full moon on January 1st in your 6th house. You know, day-to-day habits, routines, how you're serving others. So right away, at the beginning of the year, you're going to be asked to look at that. How you're caring for yourself and how you're serving others. You know, where's the balance there? And then we have the Capricorn new moon. So once again, we have this 12th house energy, planting seeds on the spiritual level, on the ascended level, on the behind the scenes level. And that's a very important time for you guys. So keep that in mind. And then the big heavy hitter, the Leo lunar eclipse on January 31st. Your opposite sign. We're going back to what we were working on with eclipses in 2017. We're having a few more of these Leo Aquarius moons coming up right now, and we start with January 31st Leo eclipse. So you're going to be asked to look at that again. You know, but kind of from a, you know what I get a sense from, and sorry, my heater's making noises in the background. It's cold, it's winter. The thing is with this eclipse and with this Leo energy this time around, rather than like the solar eclipse in August, is you're looking at it kind of almost like you were in the midst of the storm when the August eclipse happened, the Leo eclipse happened. Now you're looking at it kind of from outside, outside the looking, like on the other side of the looking glass. I mean, that's what I'm saying with this whole, the way you did it before is gone. Like you've transmuted into another form. You've transmuted into another way of being. And it kind of happened over the course of 2017. I'm still shuffling. These cards do not want to move. It was kind of happening over the course of 2017. And now that we're here in a new season for you, you are on a different platform. Okay, you got an extra card today, and you got a lot of fire and intensity, actually, you guys. I'm surprised. Okay, so let's look at the first 3 cards we have. We have the Emperor. We have the Page of Pentacles. We have Justice. Right away, there is a sense of, you know what I get with this? It's really intuitive. This is really, truly intuitive reading right here for me today. There's no, some of these classic interpretations aren't even going to fit. This to me is, you know, justice is really strong here. And the way justice is affecting the Emperor is that, and the Page of Pentacles, is to say that you have made a call coming into the new year, And you are feeling very rigid about that call. Whatever that call was, whatever choice you made about your lifestyle and where you were going with it and what you were building with it, you've made the call and you are not backing down from it. So anybody who wants to come in and argue with you about what this call is, whether this is about the career you're doing and your life purpose. I know a lot of you right now have been connecting very deeply with your life purpose and deciding to go for it. And this energy with that Saturn in your 12th house it's good timing for that. It makes sense you guys are having that. I know a lot of you have been that is where you're focusing, life purpose. And there's a sense here that you guys are just not going to put up with anybody who doesn't understand this judgment call, doesn't understand that you are on a path. I wouldn't get in the way of an Aquarian this month by any stretch of the imagination. January is not going to be a time where you're going to want to get in cross paths with you guys. I'm just going to say that right now. Uranus, your ruling planet, actually is going direct on the 2nd as well. And so there's this direction, there's this focus, there's this vision, and it's very intense. And it's unrelenting, and that Uranus energy is in Aries, which is Emperor is the Aries card, and there's an opportunity here. There's a spark being lit here. So yes, you're looking at everything from a new perspective. You are on a path. You are being asked to relentlessly push forward regardless of what happened over the last 12 months leading up to your birthday. But there's something about it. You guys are kind of the ones that have decided this. You have decided this. And part of the reason I'm saying that too is so we have these directional energies right here and we have this fresh beginning right here, right? We are going to build something. You guys are going to build something. And it kind of just continues. The next 3 cards are just as unrelenting. But this is funny because for me, this has more to do with the external world coming in and then bolstering that almost a little bit. But then no, it's not bolstering it. This is not bolstering it. You know what this is doing? This is saying, okay, you have a path. We have the Chariot. We have the Page of Wands. We have the Wheel of Fortune, not the World, Wheel of Fortune. Okay, the Chariot is great energy. It's about balance, but it's also about vision and focus, right? Initiating things. You've got these initiating energies. In fact, 3 of the cardinal signs here are showing up for you. Libra, Aries, and Cancer energy. So for me, that says more than anything that you have a direction. You've set your sights on something and you are not letting go of that sight, right? That's what cardinal direction does. It initiates and it says, I will be damned if I don't get this done. I would not get in the way of cardinal energy when it's on point like this. However, the one thing with cardinal energy is it doesn't always allow, and this isn't just the signs, it's just the archetypal energy of it. It doesn't always calculate for those things that come in and sweep it off its axis a little bit to get it moving again. And with Uranus going direct again, he's going to be in his full power. And what I'm seeing here with the Page of Wands and the Wheel of Fortune is this is external influence. That is asking you to make sure you're actually on the right track. Because, like I was telling you in that December reading, with Saturn and Capricorn in your 12th house, you guys have a way you want to do things. You have a vision, you have a purpose, and I love that. I love that you're focused and you're in it and you are not backing down from this. I love that. But the whole thing with that placement is that it asks you to revise. You can't do things the same way. Like I said, the way you did it before is over. And there's something still here about you wanting to do something a certain way that you've always done it. And the Page of Wands and the Wheel of Fortune are coming in and they're saying, you're not quite done figuring out that this lesson was meant for you. This is truth coming in here. This could be lessons coming in, little revisitations of lessons from last year that are walloping you a little bit. Not walloping, that's not the right word. They're coming in to make sure that this vision is correct. So a little flexibility is a good thing, you guys. I know with the fixed energy, I'm a fixed sign too. And when you have that drive and the ambition, you're on a track, this coming in can be frustrating. You might have a fiery personality coming in and calling you out. You may be thinking back over things somebody like this said to you. And it's directing your vision, though. The Wheel of Fortune is very positive energy. It's very supportive of you moving forward in the world. It's very supportive of you getting your dreams, getting your goals, getting what you wanted. However, all I'm saying here, the point I'm trying to make here, is that even when we have a vision, even when we think we have it figured out as far as what it's going to look like, often there are elements that need to come in that we haven't foreseen yet in order for it to come fully into focus. And this is what this energy is doing for you. This is what this energy will help you do. It will actually help you get more done. So kind of trust that. If you find that you're getting a little ruffled up about something, whether it's in your mind or somebody externally coming in, sit with it, because it's asking you to get right with your vision and to make sure it's correct. Because if you get stuck on this track and then you find out, you're a ways down this track, you're halfway down this track, and then you realize there was something about it not quite right, you're going to be a little frustrated. This is helping you. So this is a guiding light. So allow these influences to kind of help you refine your vision. Relax about it. Don't let it get to you too much. You're not being asked to give up on your dream. You're not being asked to change who you are. You're not being asked to mitigate your passion and your drive. What you are being asked to do is do it right. And do it right for you, not for anybody else, which is challenging. Now, here's the thing, you guys. You have a lot of this fiery energy. We've had the Emperor, the Page of Wands, now the King of Wands, the Nine of Wands, and then the Page of Swords. Man. A lot of what I'm seeing here actually with you guys this month is engaging with a lot of different personality types. There is the element here of there being your track and your focus, and this is really about your destiny. These major arcana cards are all about your destiny, but there are a lot of personalities popping in here. There are a lot of personalities, and I do think part of what I'm seeing here is that it's an important part of your process is engaging with these different viewpoints, is engaging with the people around you, the challengers in your life, or the people maybe you don't completely see eye to eye with, or the people that maybe you haven't, referred to for a while. The reason I'm saying that, the King of Wands here, this is somebody who's stubborn and has a vision as well, has a way of doing things as well, right? Just like the Emperor, these two are very, very clear on what they think should be happening. Like you are, because you're getting into that energy as well. I think you're going to be running into, you may be working with people who, or around people, or traveling with people, or even in your home life, around people who are challenging you because they're also stubborn. They also have a track they're on. That's where I'm saying, there's help here in refining your vision, even though it's not necessarily the way maybe you would expect that to come out. So this King of Wands is here to kind of challenge you. Challenge how you view your wounds. So, Nine of Wands. I'm going to take a moment out here, you guys, and say something about this Nine of Wands, because this is really important. This is really connecting with what I'm feeling for January for you all, which is the Nine of Wands is the world-weary warrior, as I always call him. The guy who has seen a lot of skirmishes, has been burned. He has a bandage on his head. He's standing watch over the remnants of all this battle. It represents what it looks like on the other side of a lot of brutality and a steep learning curve, which I think 2017 gave you that, and gave it to you in surprising ways you didn't expect. And honestly, coming into your birthday season, coming into a time when you should be, things are kind of culminating and you're looking back, it could be easy to think that the way you're remembering the way these wounds came in is correct. And I hope I'm going to convey this the right way. But stories have so many levels, even in our own minds, even in the way we tell our own stories to ourselves. And that's really where I'm going with this. there is a layer to this remembrance of what you've just experienced, what you've just survived, what you've just pushed through, that you may be finding you need to get right with. You need to find peace with. It may be wrangling you a little bit. It may be, riling you up in the background a little bit. You're forward, you're focused, you're doing your thing, you're standing up for what you want, you're getting your way, things are coming together. And yet, underneath the surface, there is something here in this that is telling me that you're not at peace with something. Whether this is a person or a situation or even an element of the project you're working on, there's something not quite clicked in yet. There's something not quite connected. It's bothering you. And I do feel that it probably has to do with some personalities. Doesn't have to be romantic. It could be romantic. It could be who you're working with. It could be the way you feel you're being perceived even. But there's something a little bit that needs to be addressed here. And it's interesting because we have this guy hanging out between the King of Wands and the Page of Swords. Now these two, they're both pretty relentless. One is very stubborn and set in his track and what he thinks should be done. And one is very relentless and ruthless and even careless in the way they express their needs and their desires and their ideas, and can be kind of swift and brutal and cutting. I mean, on either side, these two can learn some diplomacy and some patience, because I do see kind of a face-off here, even between different parts of yourself, quite honestly, if I want to get really deep here. I almost feel like this reading in general is the battle between the two sides of yourself. The side that is directional and focused and stubborn and very real, and the side of you that is willing to cut and is willing to run and is willing to disappear. And they both play a role. They're both important. And yet, when they're not tempered, you're left with wounds that are haunting you. And that will slow you down. No matter how much direction you have, no matter how much focus you have, if you have a wound, if you have a relationship that's not quite closed out, if you have something that's haunting you, a dream that is haunting you, a vision that is haunting you, a detail that is haunting you, it has to be addressed this month. That's what I'm seeing here. Now, a couple extra cards came out at the end. I was shuffling away and I was going to do 9 for this spread, but two cards came out. And this has everything to do with that Leo eclipse, the Lovers and the Ten of Cups. But here's the thing with this. I do see a lot of you thinking about what contentment looks like on this level. Like I said, that eclipse, it's your 7th house, it's your opposite sign, right? So it's this full moon and then this eclipse that shadows it out and then brings it back, right? And so we all go in deep and we do this work, but there's something about this lunar eclipse that is, it's like you're looking at all that you were learning in the other eclipses last year in a totally different way. And a lot of what I see with you is getting right with what this actually looks like for you. Now, that's not going to necessarily look like the house with the 2 dogs and the kids and the rainbow. Some of you maybe yes, but a lot of you have a slightly different, everybody has their own vision of what this looks like, what it looks like to go into the sunset. And what I'm seeing here is you need to reconcile what your life path is, this vision that you have for yourself as an individual, which is so important, and what you're going to do for society and what you're going to do for culture, because I'm seeing it and it's very strong. But you're having to reconcile that with this other part of yourself, this vision. What is this? What does it mean to exchange energy with another person in a healthy way? What does it mean to build an emotional future? What would that look like and how would that fit into your life? For those of you in relationships already, you might find that you're needing to make little adjustments here and there. Have those conversations. Fix, mend, heal. Bring your world-weary warrior to the table and let your partner, could be a fire sign, know that you are world-weary. And for some of you, this is making peace with what you really want in a relationship. And for some of you, you're making peace with something you lost over the last couple of years. Something that went away. And I know it's strange. I wouldn't normally interpret these cards that way because they're so future focused. But the thing with both of these is this is the way time works, right? These parallel timelines that we're always living in all the time. Everything's happening all the time, right? And with the Lovers, that karmic thing of when is the beginning of the story, when is the end? What is really happening right now, right? It's kind of like the movie Arrival. If you guys have seen it, I won't spoil it, but for those of you who have will know what I'm talking about. The thing with this watery energy here, this is air, but you know, this emotional energy of exchange of energy with another is that it messes with time, it messes with our perception of time and storyline and how we're writing a story. And everything in this spread right now is about what story are you writing? Be very sure of what that story is. And the reason I say that is like, I just do think you're going to be challenged in what that story is. Somehow in your dreams, in your body, in your soul, you're going to be refining that story so that it serves you well, because you do have so much good energy in this reading. I mean, so much major arcana, so much directional energy, so much about you getting what you want. But it really does come with the caveat that if you need to listen to those gut instincts, those body feelings, those hauntings this month, because they are helping you. This Wheel of Fortune, I keep going back to it, but it's really important. They're making sure you get the story right for yourself, within yourself, and of yourself, so that you don't get held back by it for no good reason, because there's no reason you should be held back by this. And for some of you, it's just like there's a destiny that you have had, that you've been fighting or you've been uncomfortable with, and you need to let it in. That's the other side of it. And like I said, this can be about life purpose. It can be about relationship, but it has to do with who you are and how you're relating to the external world. Which is pretty heavy, you guys. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave it at that because even I'm taking this in. I always go somewhere really interesting with you folks, you beautiful aliens, as I like to say, because there's something funny here, and take this how you will, but there's something funny here about the way time is working for you in January. Not in a bad way. It's just, it's odd. It's almost like you're living in two different time frames at once, and that could get you lost and tripped up a little bit. So you might want to slow down. Just slow down a little bit before you push forward, because you want to make sure you catch the right rung in the wheel so that you feel you're flowing with it and not getting caught up. Something from your future, your past, the way time is working is trying to get your attention to say, hey, I'm here. And for each of you, that's going to be so radically different, but man, is this a trippy month for you all. So I wish you well on this journey. I really do, Aquarians. I hope that whatever this is, you find peace in it, and that you are able to really live what's true for you in a way that is kind to yourself and kind to the people who really love you, because I also see a lot of people who really love you and care and would like to be a part of your journey. Whether or not they can is another matter, and I'm not going to tell you what's right or wrong, but I'm getting emotional. I feel really strongly about this. I feel really strongly about Aquarians in general. I feel very deeply tied to you all, and it gets to me sometimes. So I'm wishing you guys all the best. Like I said, happy birthday to the January Aquarians. I love Aquarius season. It's beautiful. It's special. And have fun with the time trip. I think it'll be a good one. And I'm going to leave my website, my email. I do private readings. I would love to work with you guys. It is always a blessing to work with Aquarians. So I will leave all that info in the description box. Get in touch with me. I would love to do some birthday readings with you all. And I will talk to you in February for more Aquarius magic.